can't get rid of old people. We don't know when we lived our fruitfulness. We like staying around.
The root.
We don't know how to gracefully turn it over. So this is what I tell her. I said, you know what? Old people know where the holes are. We can tell you there's a problem up there. But we don't have the answers yet. So we got to let them try to figure it out, because we haven't figured it out. If we had figured it out, we would not be having these Katrina moments. So we got to let the new people have it. And so all I ask her to do is that when I show up, just bow down a little bit.
Every tree needs a root.
You know? But we have to turn it over. And I will tell you that she has blown me away. And children are being successful. Like she
So I know she's not gonna make me cry. But y'all see her struggle. She wouldn't give me the remote. When she was like, hi. Like, Dr. Brown got up here with a great quote from some guy. I don't know if he was Latin. So they won't outdo me. So in the words of the great philosopher Hermes Nipsey Hussle, the great has to go. The marathon continues. So here's the how we're going to discuss shoestrings. So what's so funny about the design, it was for us when we thought about it, it was like, you know that kid who's walking down the street, their shoes untied, so it's maybe the old man at the store that's going to help him tie his shoe. And then when you get to school, it's the teacher that's going to help them tie their shoe, and then the family to help them tie their shoe. So this is truly a whole child approach. Now, some people say, Crystal, but aren't you born and raised in South Central LA, so the gang colors are red and all that? I was like, partially. I'm going to give me a little bit to the shoestrings program, too. So again, the shoestrings program, we're tying it all together. Our why was intended, as Dr. Brown spoke to, the significant disproportionality that's happening in the district. It's not only for our students, but our families. Born and raised in South Central LA, went to a historically black college for my bachelor's and master's degree. I said I've been black all my life, and I didn't realize I was black until I got to San Francisco. What's happening is not just the children of the families, it's when you show up looking like me that you have barriers too. I'm a little different. I don't know if you guys ever seen the meme of Ice Cube. It's like he has the Jerry curl with the nice shirt on, and it's like before the job, and then it's like after he gets the job, he has the Raiders fitted on, and like that is me. So I say I go into these meetings sitting on ready. Why? Because I'm only one of the administrators in my department that looks like me, and then it hits a little different when the kids look like you. I've been in meetings where people have said, but we only have a small population, a percentage of black students, why are we even concerned? So I had to clutch my pearls, so I didn't clutch their pearls. Okay, get it together. But so that is the mindset. Black children are already being seen as if they don't deserve a quality education. Carla spoke to it. She didn't mention much of it, but with her son, she went in demanding things that were going to serve him. Carla didn't tell you the piece that when she came back to the school, because she was so knowledgeable, the lady said, I know who you are. She Googled Carla. Why? Because I was a black woman that knew what she needed for her child. She could have just been a regular parent, like, oh, you know something. So they Googled her to see her track record. So that's the mindset of the city we're working and serving. And the city is a rich city for the things they want to be rich and support for. So again, our program is designed to support the children and the families that face barriers to access and instruction. Again, we're not an educational placement, other that will make a special education. However, what we know what happens when children are together. Learning takes place. So our program is designed to remove barriers that way. So that's our why. Our how is, again, we're modeling our program after a mental health clinic. We're doing it within a school district. So again, to say you want to access components of our program for a child, they're like, oh, you have to have an IEP for that or this or that. So we're working around a lot of barriers, and we partnered with a consultant agency to get us an occupational therapist. Otherwise, because in school districts, when you have OT, you have a IEP. And we also partnered with Department of Public Health to get a mental health, or early childhood specific area of expertise, a mental health clinic through Homeless Children's Network. And then we intentionally sought out our behavior interventionist, which is a district position, but we sought out that was a black man. he's not from the state of California. Like, we have to find him, because what happens in the district, they say, well, we would hire him, but we can't find him. Let me let you know, Crystal's on the lookout. I have 2 MSW interns, and guess who they both look like? Me. We'll find them. So that's part of our partnerships, and our goals is to set our students up to be successful in their classroom. Are we against special education? Absolutely not. We're saying let the children that need those services, warrant those services, have access to them. Otherwise, let the children get served in their general ed preschool classroom. So the intentional design, again, it's not a diagnostic, it's a diagnostic assessment, it's not an educational placement. So all our staff are clinicians, nobody's a teacher. So we have myself, I'm the clinical administrator. You guys pray for me. I am one exam away from being licensed. So we're gonna go chill. One exam away from being licensed. We have a mental health clinician who is also licensed. She's here, Serena. Guess who she looks like? Intentional design. We have a behavior interventionist with a mental health and early childhood background. We have a nurse, a district nurse, because there's some physiological needs to this component of the whole child approach. And we also have an occupational therapist and 2 MSW master level social work interns.
Tell them why it's intentional and how everybody pushed back on you about, is this a black program?
So these meetings, I often quote Carla a lot because we've had offline conversations, and when you look on mental health, education, juvenile system, or criminal justice system, as long as blacks are on the bottom, people are fine. It's when you start to say, you know what? I think we could create a program to move the needle just a little. Carla says she lives for the day when she was like, woo, them other racial ethnicity groups got it bad. But for now, unfortunately, it's us. So to do this within a school district, the thing was like, oh, you guys are creating a black program. And we was like, no, we're creating a program for the children you continue to over-refer to special education, or the children you continue to suspend and expel. So let me tell you about suspension and expulsion. Allowing a child to sit in the principal's office is a loss of access instruction time. Calling the parent, regardless of how challenging the behavior comes for you, because who's the challenging behavior for? The adult or the student? The adult. Because the child is getting a need met. So any of that is loss of instruction time, and it's illegal. As Dr. Brown mentioned earlier, like, districts are going to get sanctioned, get this notification, because there's no way of tracking it. Therefore, you should not be doing it. So our program is designed to support those needs. And what happens in our school districts and across your state and across the country, I'm sure the kids up in your programs being over-referred or suspended looks like me as well. Hence, the pre-K to prison pipeline is really real. So that was how we, the pushback we got for having this program, because it's like, oh, now you're gonna create a program for the black kids. But if we did, like,
In other words, it's gonna be a dumping ground.
a dumping ground. Oh, it's gonna be a dumping ground for what SPED has become for black people. And just another quick plug, it was like when I went to my HBCU, I was so proud to leave LA to go to a black college, and I got there and saw others. They were the minority, however, just being there, it's like, for Black Hispanics, we can never have anything for ourselves. So for the mind of, you're educators, you're in it because you want these students to have success. If this was a black program, so what? So mind you, that's the mindset of the city this program is happening in. So many text messages be like, Carla, what the is happening? Help calm me down. She's like, back up, Crystal, sit down, talk up the ledge. Because y'all know I go back and forth between Ice Cube with the Jerry Curl and the Raiders spinning. So I'm going back. Here I am. This program for the Creating the Nurture Environments really focused on community building. We're doing the holistic approach. We don't want this child to only be successful in our program. We want them to be successful in kindergarten. We're only an early education center. They're only going to be with us for maybe two years at the max. We want them to be successful, set up their academic journey to be successful. Targeting individualized behavior strategies. So when you create a strategy, are you creating a strategy for the child or the behavior? Anybody else? Behavior. It's really, really important to learn to separate the child from the behavior, because when you don't, when Carla mentioned the white boy that gets to roll on the floor, he's learning, or he's just getting needs met. When the black boy does it, he's criminalized for doing the same thing. So you always focusing on targeting the behavior, because in a couple of hours, if they told you this conference was all week, the way y'all have pep in y'all step on Saturday is gonna be a little different than Friday. So our earliest learners, sometimes when they're hungry, when they're sleepy, or even more so when they're scared and all these other things, that shows up as behavior. So we have to learn to separate the child from the behavior. And even though Carla mentioned that her son, he's gonna be tall, he's gonna be tall, and he's only 7, we need to see black kids as whatever age they are. I don't care if a 5-year-old walked in here as tall as me. I mean, it will be something to see, but that's still a 5-year-old. It was mentioned earlier, adultifying our children, that happens all the time, as if they should know better. He's 4, he just got upset, now he's sucking his finger or doing something like that to self-soothe. Why should he know better when his white counterpart doesn't have to know? So that's what we target the behaviors, and is intentional. And the cool thing I do like about my team, we have race conversations. So without these little kitten heels on, I'm even shorter. I have 2 white staff on my team, everyone else is black. We have the conversation that, let me let you know, if somebody walks in here for a tour, guess who they gonna go to first? My nurse, he's a white male. Then after that, who they gonna go to? The white occupational therapist, a white woman. After that, they gonna go see my black interventionist, right? He's a tall black male. Before that, Serena's taller than me, so they're gonna come. I'm the very last person that they're gonna see as running this program, because I'm smaller and I'm a black woman. So we have to be mindful the way we support and look at children as children, because the society's already set them up. This little black girl suspended for kicking somebody, how bad could her kick have been that you're gonna press charges battery on a little girl? So it's intentional that way. What we have, which is like a universal design, you would think. I've never been a teacher. However, I say for visual schedules, I'm an adult. If I would have come to this conference and there wouldn't have been an agenda, I would have lost my shit. I'd have like, what happens next? It's gonna stress me out. So why would we not have that for a child 2 years, 9 months to 5 years old? Let them know what's going next. Specifically with children that experience trauma, it eases that anxiety. Okay, you have lunch, then the X, Y, and Z, now you go home. First this happens, then this happens. A lot of times the challenging behaviors come transitioning from a preferred to non-preferred activity. How many times are you sleeping and your alarm go off, you just jump up, put your clothes on, ready to go? None of you. You all struggled getting in here today. We all did. So that's the importance of prepping the child. We say for a child to feel safe and thrive in an environment, it needs to be predictable. They need to know what's happening next. They feel safe. They know that there's at least one nurturing adult that they can get their needs met. It's cool that they can have a lot of teachers or co-teachers in there, but at least one they know to get their needs met. That's the importance of creating an environment. Individualized sensory supports. We do have an occupational therapist who will create what we call sensory diets, and the children transition out, they have a report. Like some kids, before they can do their writer's workshop or counting, they need to get what we call the wiggles out. What's so wrong with the 4-year-old running 2 laps on the playground, then coming to sit at I hope your circle time's not 30 minutes, but coming to sit at a circle time. It may be TMI, but I flew from Oakland here. I cannot fly in jeans. I have to fly in sweats or like a maxi dress. That's my own sensory need, but it's cool for me as an adult. If you guys get tired, some of you may stand up, you're gonna fan a little bit. Imagine your teacher saying, don't you stand up, sit. Don't you fan, do this. Don't kick your shoes off. So that's all we're doing. Again, without a label, create an environment that's nurturing to the child's individualized needs. We use common language. This is a big one for parents, really, because I don't have kids. I tell all the parents on the tour, like, we do not say no here. We say something is not available. You guys know growing up with a black parent, when they say no, no mean no. You don't know why. You got an A the day before, you just like, no? It's like, no. We want to work on giving the children agency over their body and understanding choices. So it's say, something's not available, here are 2 choices. Now again, the choices you're going to give them is something you want them to do anyway, but it's like the child's like, okay, so that's not available, and it's not a definite no. It's like, oh, we can come back to that later. And also with the common language, when we have kids come to us, even if a behavior is challenging, we get eye level, we let them know you are not in trouble. Because how many times in the school setting when a kid talks to an adult, you're already in trouble. It's like, yes, we saw you just tear that whole center up. You're not in trouble. tell me what you need. Imagine that comfort. How many of you guys lied to family members, parents going up and like, if my mama know I got a flat tire or this, it's a whooping. So it's like building those relationships, like where you're not in trouble. And sharing this with parents, they have been really receptive to say, not available. You know, you grow up, if you don't eat what mama cooked, you don't eat. So it's like, oh no, you cannot have just Cheetos tonight. That's not available. Carrots or macaroni and cheese or what have you, given the child, where they really feel like they've made a choice. Because again, the behaviors, because they're saying the kids have the inability to self-regulate. Imagine a program where we're building your emotional vocabulary. You're moving past just learning like happy, mad, and sad. Which I say, growing up with a single black mom, we were only able to be happy and sad. We couldn't be mad about nothing. We were getting back to Ashley grew up across the street from me. I couldn't be mad about nothing, okay? Nothing. So we're having 3, 4, and 5-year-olds can tell you they're frustrated, or they're anxious, or they're excited about something. We foster it that way so these kids can have the tools they need to support themselves. Hopefully the environment they're going to is going to be nurturing. If not, we've worked with them enough that they have these tools in their kit, and well is supporting the parents. And the behavior expectations, we don't have rules. Together we define each cohort, we define what's community. The kids say, community is taking care of my friends. We write it, they come sign it. So when they have a tough time, it's like, oh, you remember when you said community was taking care of your friends? And then they're like, again, that agency over their body and their choices.